Today, Vienna Hauptbahnhof to Munich Hauptbahnhof aboard obb's Railjet in business class. While riding one of Europe's cross-border services, I'll tour the train and the seat, show you the onboard service and dive briefly into old stock versus multiple unit operation. We'll also trace the history that made this corridor the Westbahn and how it evolved into today's obb. Expect comfy seats, crisp winter scenery and a little rail history. Come along! Hi and welcome to Wien Hauptbahnhof, or Vienna Central Station in English. It's modern, having opened in 2012 and a real gateway between West and East Europe. The place is busy, practical and full of life, with ticket offices, ticket machines for those who prefer a quicker experience, shops and a concourse that gets very busy at times. Quick check of the departures board and the clock. It's 8:10 and my train leaves at 8:28, so no time for the lounge today. You can see it in my video from Vienna to Krakow with the Eurocity Danubius. Today, I'd rather get up to the platform and see the Railjets arrive. Yes, Railjets, plural, not just one. Here comes the first consist, and while we watch, a quick note. Today's service is actually two trains coupled together. The front set has come from the airport and will continue on toward Innsbruck and Bregenz, while the rear set, arriving now, is my train to Munich. They run together as a single long unit until Salzburg, where the two portions are uncoupled and continue to their separate destinations. It's a neat piece of track capacity optimization, using one single path for two services, and one of the advantages available for train transport. Each set is hauled by an obb Siemens Taurus Class 1116, hauling 7 cars, the last at the rear being a driving trailer, which allows the train to be operated from either end without having to run the locomotive around at terminals. Let's board! Business class is roomy and calm, with wider seats and more legroom. Later in the video, I'll show it in detail. And here's my seat for the next 4 hours. Departure is at 8:28, on time. As I'm in the rearmost car, I get a great view down the full length of the station as we pull away. And as usual upon departure, today's trip map. Passing through obb's Matzleinsdorf shops and seeing the diversity of rolling stock is always a pleasure. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Please forgive the dirty windows. In my experience, obb hasn't been the best with washing their trains lately. Our first stop, only 5 minutes after departure, is Wien Meidling, allowing passengers from this side of the city to take the train without the need of traveling all the way to the central station. It's just a brief 2-minute stop, and soon we are on our way out of the city. As we leave Vienna behind and shortly after departure from Meidling, the attendant comes round for the welcome drinks service. I have a green tea, complimentary in business, and it's exactly what I want today. A small warm comfort against the rather grey scenery outside. Cheers to that! Inside, let me show you my seat. There's an overhead luggage rack, a lovely red headrest, an individual reading light, a power socket, and a small bin. The seat reclines and there's also a little leg elevation. In the armrest, there's this fold-out table for a laptop or a meal. Overall, it's a very nice seat for a trip like this. There's also Wi-Fi on board, which can be accessed by passengers on their personal devices. In what felt like no time, we stop at St. Polten, the capital of Lower Austria, less than half an hour after the start of our trip. This is a very old city, with roots dating back to the 8th century and a compact old town with a cathedral, along with other charming points, just a short walk from the station. It's here that the engineering company Voith has its headquarters, with activities in papermaking, hydropower, and its most known activity, drive technology. For this train, though, it's just a quick stop before continuing west on the Westbahn that will lead us to Linz, Salzburg and Munich.
Guten Tag, sehr geehrte Reisende, herzlich willkommen im Railjet Express 262. Unser Zug besteht aus zwei Zugteilen. Der vordere Zugteil mit den Ordnungsnummern 31 bis 37 fährt nach Bregenz. Der nächsten Halte Linz, Salzburg, Wörgl, Jembach, Innsbruck, Imspitz, dann an der Xamslangen am Arlberg, Bludenz, Feldkirchdorf, Bregenz. Der hintere Zugteil mit den Ordnungsnummern 21 bis 27 fährt nach München Hauptbahnhof. In Salzburg Hauptbahnhof wird der Zug geteilt.
As we head west, this is a good moment to look at the railway beneath our wheels, the Western Railway or Westbahn, which for well over a century has been Austria's main artery to the west. The line was opened in two stages, with the section from Vienna to Linz opening in 1858 and from Linz to Salzburg in 1860. In that same summer of 1860, a through link to Munich was inaugurated, allowing a direct connection between Austria and Bavaria. This corridor was so important that it became one of the backbone lines of the old imperial network and helped knit the Habsburg lands together. Its importance is clear from the early decision to double the original single track. Work began as early as 1870 and the entire line was double-tracked by 1902. Electrification of the Westbahn came later and in phases. The first electric trains ran in 1938 from Amstetten to Steindorf, and even during the turmoil of World War II, work continued, with Steindorf to Attnang-Puchheim opening to electric trains in 1941. The remaining sections followed after the war, and by 1952, the whole line from Vienna Westbahnhof to Salzburg was electrified. Throughout the 20th century, the line was progressively upgraded, allowing travel times to shrink from 9 hours in 1860 to 2 hours and a half today for trips between Vienna and Salzburg. And upgrades haven't stopped. New cutoffs and realignments allow trains to reach 200 km per hour, with some stretches already certified for 230 km per hour, bringing even faster journeys in the future. A major change of a different kind came in December 2008, when oebb launched the Railjet era, introducing a flagship high-quality service linking Vienna with Munich and Budapest. Railjet is now the face of Austrian long-distance rail travel, connecting cities across Austria, Germany, Hungary, Slovakia, the Czech Republic and Italy. As we move at 21st century speeds, we're soon in Salzburg, about 313 kilometers and roughly 2 hours and 25 minutes from Vienna. Salzburg sits at the foot of the Alps, has a little over 150,000 inhabitants, and is a genuine jewel of a city, well worth a visit. Here in Salzburg, the front half of our long train detaches to continue to Innsbruck and Bregenz, while the rear portion carries on to Munich. And that's a good excuse to mention Railjet's basic design. obb's Railjets run as push-pull trains. A locomotive at one end and modern cars with a driving trailer at the other. That setup lets obb couple and split portions, quickly swap locomotives when needed, and, although not usually done, resize trains to match demand, all very useful for train operations in general. By contrast, many operators today favor multiple units. These can be more energy efficient, but they're less flexible on answering to peak demand or regarding maintenance, as usually traction components require more maintenance than old ones. And while in old trains you just swap the locomotive, in multiple units the whole unit is taken out of service when each individual component needs to be maintained. obb's choice is practical and rooted in its history, as it already had almost 400 Taurus locomotives since before the inception of Railjet, and by ordering these very cars in which we're traveling, in the end it got train sets with a maximum speed of 230 km per hour and perfected its processes so that coupling and uncoupling is quick and easy, as we've just seen at Salzburg. Now I believe that you must already be tired of hearing me yap, so I'll let you watch the train's interiors peacefully and use captions in the lower left corner. Enjoy! As we press on after the interior tour, a quick practical note. Between Freilassing and Traunstein there were brief police checks. Officers boarded at one station, did their controls en route, and left at the next. Nothing unpleasant about it at all. The officers were very friendly and it was handled quickly, so service wasn't disrupted. The Munich skyline coming into view signals that we're approaching the city's central station. We arrive at Munich Hauptbahnhof at 12:32 on time with this smooth entry into the station, which clearly had snow not long before. A last look at the seat and let's hop off. Now, what are my impressions of the trip? The train itself is very pleasant, with sober, calm interiors and ran on time. The excellent rolling quality and noise insulation offered a calm and stable journey. The seats are very comfortable and with good legroom. On board, obb caters to a wide range of travelers, with different classes and accommodations. In the end, there's something that appeals to most everyone. The cafeteria is pleasant, the selection is solid for onboard catering, something that, as you know, I always appreciate, and at reasonable prices. A practical note about service levels. oebb runs 8 Railjet services on weekdays on this corridor, with some starting in Budapest. This variety gives travelers flexibility and good connections between Austria and Bavaria. Now the one annoyance. The trains, including the windows, were noticeably dirty, something I've been noticing more and more on obb cars. This is quite annoying, not only for filming, but also for those who just want to enjoy the scenery. It's a shame, because everything else about this service is great. Thanks for riding with me on today's journey all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the trip, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and drop a comment below. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these rail adventures rolling, always with a bit of history and technology. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next week.